Hello everyone and welcome back to your daily government and financial news update. In today's video, we'll be discussing one of the lies President Biden just can't seem to stop repeating despite advisors telling him not to. I'll also be going over some news regarding Social Security, the large increase beneficiaries can expect to receive very soon, along with Ron Johnson defending himself from the attacks of wanting to end the program. And finally, we go over some updates regarding the stock market and Bitcoin. Now, as always, I am definitely interested in hearing your thoughts on everything, and I wanted to quickly thank everyone for giving my videos likes and sharing them, as that certainly helps push these videos out to other people like you. Okay, so yesterday, President Biden continued his lies, claiming that as a kid, he was very engaged in the civil rights movement, something that has repeatedly been debunked.
I got very engaged, in my case, in the civil rights movement, and as a kid, I worked a lot in the movement and I got deeply involved in the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party in Delaware was a Southern Democratic Party then. We were more a Southern state than a Northeastern state. And I got involved and one thing led to another. And one day a group came to me of the senior members of the party and said they wanted me to run for the Senate.
Now, these lies all sort of started back in 1987 when he made his first run for president, when he claimed that he marched in the civil rights movement. So here he is in 1987 when these weird lies first started.
I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes. And we changed attitudes.
When I was 17 years old, like many of you, I participated in sit-ins to desegregate the restaurants and movie houses of Wilmington, Delaware.
I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff.
And here is Joe Biden just a few months later in 1987, right before dropping out of the race, backing down from those claims and admitting to not being any part of a civil rights movement, saying that he was not actually an activist.
During the 60s, I was, in fact, very concerned about the civil rights movement. I was not an activist. I worked at an all-black swimming pool in the east side of Wilmington, Delaware. I was involved in what they were thinking, what they were feeling. I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else. I was a suburbanite kid who got a dose of exposure to what was happening to black Americans when I'm in my own city.
Then, of course, 2 decades later, when Barack Obama plucked him out of nowhere to be his VP, the lie started up once again for whatever reason, like he wouldn't actually be called out for it.
You know, when I was a teenager in Delaware, for real, I got involved in the civil rights movement. We have the 8th largest black population in America. Most people don't know that. And I'd go to 8 o'clock Mass, then I'd go to Reverend Herring's church where we'd meet in order to organize and figure where we were going to go, whether we were going to desegregate the Rialto movie theater or what we were going to do. I got my education for real in the black church. And that's not hyperbole, it's a fact. But I got my education, Reverend Doc, in the black church, not a joke. Because when we used to get organized on Sundays to go out and desegregate movie theaters and things like that, we'd do it through the black church. I was no big shakes, Reverend, in the civil rights movement. I was just a kid. I got involved in desegregating movie theaters and helping, you may remember Reverend Moyer in Delaware and Herman Holloway organized voter registration drives, coming out of black churches on Sunday, figuring how we were going to move. In October, I was invited to the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis to receive the Freedom Award. A thing when I sat in black churches in the east side of Wilmington getting ready to, and by the way, next to two Jewish rabbis, getting ready to go out and desegregate movie theaters in Delaware. I never ever thought in my life I would be worthy of, and I'm still not sure I'm worthy of it.
Even back in 2019, CNN's Jake Tapper and the New York Times called him out on the lie, and per the New York Times, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with his formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement. And more than once, Mr. Biden assured them he understood and kept telling the story anyway.
He lied to voters, according to the New York Times, quoting aides of Biden's, about having marched in the civil rights movement. This is Biden making this false claim in 1987.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes.
And the New York Times reports, quote, more than once, advisors had gently...
So whether it's claiming he was a huge part of the civil rights movement or that he claimed to run for president to restore some type of decency and honor to the country, treating people with respect, then smearing the other half of the country on countless occasions, the lies just really never end.
I said I was running for 3 reasons. 1, to restore the soul of America. By that I meant decency, honor, meaning what you say, literally treating people with some respect.
Now, in some other news regarding Social Security, Senator of Wisconsin Ron Johnson continued getting scrutinized for his comments regarding the program on Monday, as President Biden blasted the entire Republican Party, saying, quote, these MAGA Republicans in Congress are coming for your Social Security. Biden also singled out Johnson for voting against the Inflation Reduction Act, saying that Johnson had opposed lowering prescription drug prices because it would, quote, result in punishing the pharmaceutical industries. So Johnson took to Twitter to defend himself, writing, the Democrats cannot defend their record, so they've resorted to baseless smears and personal attacks. Their latest, I want to end Social Security. I want to save Social Security and protect the long-term success of this vital program. Johnson also appeared on Fox and Friends, where he discussed the rumors of him wanting to end Social Security.
Us heal and unify and save this nation, because the Democrats won't do it. They simply won't. They can't defend their record. You know, I'm in a tough race here in Wisconsin. All the Democrats can do is lie about me, assassinate my character, engage in the politics and personal destruction. Probably the most outrageous lie they're telling now is that I want to cut or end Social Security. I mean, just give that a second of a thought. What elected official would ever want to cut Social Security? It is absurd on its face. This is the third election they've falsely accused me of the exact same thing. I want to save Social Security. We need to stop all this deficit spending. We're $30.8 trillion in debt. But it's just disgusting. It's just exhausting, all this division and hate. But I have to say, it's coming from the left. We're not the dividers. They are.
As of right now, the Social Security Trust Fund is predicted to run out of money within the next 13 years, which means that Congress will need to think of some type of solution to keep the program going. To do this, they currently have a couple of different bills on the table, both of which would make the program last longer and increase the benefits. But other than that, those receiving Social Security benefits are looking to receive a pretty huge increase next year due to the cost of living adjustment. So right now, July's Consumer Price Index showed that inflation was up 8.5% over the last year, but on October 13th, we'll know for sure how much of an increase those on Social Security will receive. For 2022, the cost of living adjustment went up by 5.9%, or about $93 per month, and for next year, it should be much higher, and according to Mary Johnson, an analyst with the Senior Citizens League, we should see one of the highest cost of living adjustments ever paid in the history of the program. According to the director of Boston College's Center for Retirement Research, it's highly likely the benefits will increase by more than 9% for 2023, but if they do increase by exactly 9% right on the nose, on average, beneficiaries would receive right around $150 more per check, or $1,800 more per year. Again, we won't know for sure until October 13th, but we'll get another key number on September 13th, when the inflation data for August will be released, so that's coming very soon. Okay, so now quickly moving into some money news, where the stock market will once again open up today, and so far, futures are in the green, with Dow futures up 0.57%, S&P 500 futures up by 0.64%, and NASDAQ futures in the green by 0.77%. Now, last week we saw some days where futures started out in the green, but by the end of the day, they all seem to dip back into the red, so we can only hope to have a better week ahead. Now, as far as Bitcoin goes, over the last day, it's actually gained slightly, up by 0.74%, and currently sitting in the high 19,000s. So with that said, it definitely wouldn't be a bad time to start investing, or if you've already started investing, to continue dollar cost averaging in. So if you would like to receive 12 free stocks and $5 worth of Bitcoin, in the comment section below, I will leave a link where you can receive just that from my partner in Webull. And even if you don't feel like investing at this time for whatever reason, once you receive the free stocks, what you can always do is sell them for what they're worth and then transfer that money right back to your bank account. So in total, you should be receiving a value of right around $50 or more. Some people have actually received over $3,000 in the past, which all this money will be taxable by the 87,000 new IRS agents. but still you can think of that as just some free extra money with just a few minutes of work. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you enjoyed the content in today's video and you would like to see more like it, I would encourage you to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and make sure to ring the notification bell. That way you won't be missing any of my future videos. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day ahead, and I'll see you in the next video.